not knowing like what to do or what to say.
Or feeling responsible, like maybe if I were a better kid,
Yeah.
my
All that shit
parents
that
wouldn't be shitty.
that nobody talks to you about, and you just carry. I was never like that as a kid, but I did till I was like 18. I used to want my parents to get back together, which is weird too, because like my dad was beating the shit out of my mom. You know what I mean? So it's not a reality. So, and you know, it's not a good thing to even want. Pray. That part that I just mentioned there is another reason why I try to do, like, make sure the anger is under control. Because in the back of your mind, you like, you know, think that these things are you, because they are me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he is me, I am him. So somewhere in there, that's there. You know, make sure that that doesn't ever, come out. It's like I'm scared of it a little bit.
Well, what if you get the opportunity to recognize it and transmute that energy? So, like, not to be scared of it, but to use it in a positive way.
I wish I could. I was confronted with it one time in a situation with a person, you know, asked me to engage him that way, and I just had to end it. You know, I was like, I can't be here. This thing that you want from me, I can't give that to you. You know, I don't want to open that door.
Like a fight?
Yeah, you know, like a woman asking me to do harm to her.
Wait, a woman wanted you to? Wait, what? Why?
I don't know. No good. We were just having a disagreement. She get in my face, she's like, hit me, you know, like that kind of person. You know, I'm like, you're gonna awake the demon here. You got to get away from me. I can't know you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like those
wild.
kind of situations you get in, you're like, you know, like what do you do with that? Crazy, right? Because you don't even be thinking people are out there like that, right? Because that sounds like a crazy story, doesn't it?
I mean, they're like, it definitely sounds crazy, but it doesn't sound like it's abnormal at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we can dissect it and be like, that's fucking crazy, because it is, right? But the reality of it is there are plenty of fucked up people who want to provoke you or get a rise out of you or want you to retaliate, and then they're like, well, look what so and so just did, blah blah blah, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about, and I never really dug into it either, but I know that I didn't have the skills in me then to navigate that path, so I just got off of it. So I can't do this thing.
I mean, that was technically a skill that you just did, right? Like, at the end of the day, right? You navigated that well.
Yeah, escape and evade.
Pray. The purpose of prayer is the alignment of the mind with the thoughts and the will of God. By choosing this card, you are being asked to release your worries and fears and to pray. In many religions, prayer is a supplication, an appeal, or petition to God to receive something. However, prayer is really a sacred invitation to speak openly and honestly with the divine. It is an honest dialogue of the heart. There truly is no right or wrong way to pray. Speak to the divine about your fears, concerns, and worries to release your burdens. Speak to the divine about anything. Refrain from worrying about how a situation will work out and allow the power of wisdom of the divine to heal the situation and provide solutions. Ask for help, guidance, and faith, and trust not only that you are being heard, but you are being supported and that the issue will be resolved. At times, we cannot understand the outcome of the situation we've prayed about, but remember that the divine is unlimited in its knowledge and will provide the outcome that benefits the best path forward for all involved. If you've been praying for help or guidance but haven't seen a response or sign, know that you have been heard. Keep in mind that the divine works according to its own clock and will provide the best solution when the time is right. So did you
I like that.
Figure out stuff with your dad?
Oh, like that going to meet him thing and all that? The going to meet him part and all that stuff, you mean?
Well, yes, like you had said that, like, your brother was asking if you, like, want to.
Yeah. No, I never did it. I took when I had the opportunity to do it, I didn't do it, basically.
What do you mean?
Like, I could go see him yesterday, right? Yesterday was Friday? Or
yesterday
whatever day it was.
Saturday.
The day that I chose to go do the self-care thing instead of doing that thing. I could have did it. So I didn't do anything about it, basically. But I will, hopefully, before he checks out.
So is he like dying?
Maybe. I think so. I think he's just in a bad heart. I think he can go anytime now, because his condition's bad. So yeah, it's close. I believe that's what the message I got. I don't. Go ahead.
No. What?
I thought you were gonna say something about prayer. I don't pray. I have prayed. When I do pray, it's never for me. Always for someone else. Only time I think I would have prayed or went in that direction or looked to that was in my motorcycle accident. But I just feel like I didn't have the time, Like when it happened, there was no time. It wasn't like the movies or, like light flashing before your eyes or you're thinking about this. At least in my situation, I was like kind of coherent and a little bit understanding. So I was really just concerned with myself. And I knew I wasn't dying. At least I thought I wasn't dying. So it wasn't one of those things where I'm like, oh God, please save me from, imminent demise. I was just asking people questions around me. No need to pray. In that moment.
So it says like there's no right or wrong way to prayer. So like to pray. So I guess like my question is like, do you like how do you pray?
That's interesting too. How do I pray? I probably just ask for whatever situation, the best outcome in, whatever situation.
But like, do you like close your eyes and
Oh yeah, I
is,
probably
what is?
I probably close my eyes, probably like the way I'm sitting now, like close my eyes, maybe fold my hands, like a meditative state.
Mm-hmm.
Just ask questions, say some words, and that's about it. But it's never really directed towards anyone, I don't believe, it's just kind of just sending it out there.
Yeah, which is, I think that's a good thing.
What about you?
So me, I pray a lot, pray all the time. Like if I, on the drive here, there's an ambulance, so I quickly will just be like, hey, like it doesn't, same thing where it's like, it doesn't have to be this like, it's like a quick thought of like, I hope that everyone involved in this situation is okay. Or so it's just like, it is anytime. I think all thoughts could potentially be prayers if we like really think about it, of wanting something or asking for something, consciously or subconsciously. And then meditation is consciously seeking the answers.
Interesting. Have you done it your whole life? Have you always sought prayer?
Yeah, intentionally and unintentionally. But yeah.
You unintentionally prayed?
Yeah, like subconsciously. I've been doing it my whole life, but sometimes not even realizing that I was doing it.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like just kind of sending the signal out, hoping for the best, and you consider that to be a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense because like who else are you talking to? You're talking to somebody. Makes sense. I thought about leaning back towards that direction recently. I don't know. What do you think it's about? Age or experience or what? Like what makes people? Because I was always one of those no. Like if I can't see it, or if I can't add it up, I'm not interested kind of person. Like I've always needed proof, but as I get older, it's like, I don't know. You just realize how much power is in the faith, What do you think makes a person go back that direction? Soul family. Call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. Well, that's interesting. That's a very interesting thought. I was literally just reading someone's post that's, into the same stuff that we're on and saying to myself, we all need to build a super team. That shit's crazy. That's hilarious. Because if you saw this person's post, you'd be like, yeah, I'd like her. He's like one of those holistic, kind of. I don't even know if there's a word for what it is. I try not to put anyone into a box, but
Yeah, I mean, it's technically, like, I wouldn't say it's like putting them in a box, but like sometimes it's like we give things labels to like understand the energy.
yeah, for sure. I don't have one for her. I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't know what it is that she does. I'm sure she has a label for it because she's trying to market and package and sell it, but I don't know what that is. What's the topic?
The wound of violation and the primary emotion is anger.
All right. What did I want to say? Oh yeah, there was someone, we had a question. Remember I told you about it before? There was I'm not going to say male or female, but a listener had a question. I feel like it was directed towards you because I wouldn't know. But the question was, what would you say to someone or suggest to someone that's in a relationship with a partner that they feel needs to go on their healing journey? Do you have any tips for anyone in that or suggestions?
Immediately when you say that, my first thought, to be honest, is if someone's asking that question, it is them who needs to go on their healing journey. Not saying that the other person doesn't, but they also need to recognize that they need to go on their own healing journey. So it's like if you are thinking that someone else needs something, it's usually what you actually need for yourself. And then if you're, let's just say, because it sounds like they're saying that because that person is like toxic in some sort of way.
I don't know, but I believe the person is on their healing journey. So like they're already aware of that. They just want to know what to do to convince their spouse or other, like how would you do that without being forceful or what, you know what I mean?
So me personally, I would write a list of all the things I like about that person and pray for their happiness and be the example, because that's really all that you can do. You can't force anyone to go on their healing journey, and if you do try and force them to go on their healing journey, it's not going to be genuine for them, So ultimately it is be the change that you want to see. So like be the example, and then if they, most times in those situations, if you are the person that's going on your healing journey, usually toxic people will fall off in some way, shape, or form. So it's like if you are really doing the work, that other significant, that partner, they are either going to want to like, wow, I really see that you're growing. They want to grow too, or they become resentful of the other person's growth. And then there's usually some kind of friction that causes the two of them to cut ties.
That makes sense. So you're suggesting that if the person's doing the work, that their spouse or significant other is either going to be attracted to that and come towards them or be resentful and remove themselves from the situation.
Yeah, or like, yeah.
That makes sense.
They may not remove themselves, but they're either that person is going to stand up for themselves and no longer allow whatever is going on, because I obviously don't have any details in this. But yeah, in some way, shape, or form, it's either going to bring them closer together or tear them apart.
Yeah, for sure. That part. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I think my thought process would be along the same lines. I mean, somewhere I'm sure you could soft pitch, some ideas, or just let a person know, like if it were me, I would let the other person know, like, this is what I've been doing, this is what I've been working on, these are the changes I see in myself, just making sure that I make it about me and letting, them know that, hey, this is available to you as well, but it's optional, there's no force. But if you want to, come along this journey, because I'm going, and, where I'm going, if you want to join, you're going to have to do some of the work.
Mm-hmm.
So, that part.
You get left at the station.
Yeah,
like a Harriet Tubman thought.
Yeah, that's a good answer. A Harriet Tubman thought.
Yeah.
What is the thought? Now I got to know. You can't just lay like a Harriet Tubman thought out.
You know, Harriet Tubman, she was taking people to freedom. That is what this journey is about. This is a freedom journey.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But she was taking people, Harriet Tubman.
To freedom.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I was thinking it was like, can you take your, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, if they
take your
want
spouse
to,
to freedom. Yeah,
right?
they can come along on a journey with
If
you.
they
Yeah,
want to.
yeah, it's a choice, or they can stay, you know, wherever. And yeah, it makes sense. I like that kind of. Yeah, good one. I had to know what, you know what I mean? Like, what, you can't just throw Harriet
Oh,
Tubman
no,
in
I'm
this shit
sorry.
without explaining what that means. All right, cool. All right, let's go. Welcome back to the show, everyone, here at the Awakened Avoidant with myself, Sean, and your favorite Crystal, Miss Crystal Renee.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Appreciate it. Let's go.
All right, so today's about the wound of violation. The trigger is unmet expectations. The root program is I expect. The traumas are restriction of freedom. Oh, funny. Oppression, violence, disrespect, autonomy violations, physical violations, boundaries being crossed, expectations not met. And the primary emotion is anger.
That's interesting. I use that word a lot, you know, like don't violate in regard to myself, like expecting people to not violate, but I don't ever feel like I obviously have been. I'm sure we've all been violated at some point, but you try not to be. But it's not like something that happens regularly in my life. But I feel like my boundaries are real rigid, you know, obviously because of, you know, my upbringing and life and the things that have happened. And I've only just recently now to, you know, try to give a little bit of grace, but, you know, not letting anyone violate. Not that much grace. What about you?
So I guess for me personally, it is, oh man, it's been a whole journey. Like this whole thing has been a whole journey of finding my freedom. Like I feel like it's something that I'm still fighting for. Like the stuff with my mom, you know. So fighting for my freedom in terms of being my authentic self. And this was actually part of a conversation I had last night of since I was a child, being reprimanded for speaking up for myself. And I realized that the fault wasn't me speaking up for myself or being inappropriate for speaking up for myself, but the adults in my life didn't want to take accountability. So it was easier to just tell me to,
Yeah, shut up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now being an adult, having that freedom to be authentic, it's sometimes that freedom feels so good to the point that I'm just like, listen, if there's no peace, I want no part of it. Like boundaries I'm also have very rigid boundaries because I'm just like, I enjoy my peace and my freedom so much. Like if you're not with it, like I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And
How
it
does
doesn't
that
matter
work
who
for
you
you?
are. What?
Do you have any flex with your boundaries, or you just keep them rigid? Is it situational? Like,
I think it's definitely situational for sure. There's never, every relationship is going to be different. So it's every scenario is going to be different. Every conversation with different people are going to be different. I think boundaries are vital. And I think that there is no, like, part of me is like, I wish I could just make a handbook and like when I interact with people, be like, here are the boundaries, like, read this and then, we'll talk in 15 minutes.
yeah, I like
that's,
that. Yeah.
yeah, but that's not realistic.
Before you come talk to me, read this shit. I'll accept this, that, and that. Don't. Yeah, I like that.
Like,
I like that.
but realistically, sometimes we don't even realize that a boundary has been crossed until we're angry. And then we have to get to the root of it. Like, why am I angry? And then it's to have a conversation, of like, hey, that really hurt my feelings or blah, 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 and really talk about things. And I then look at it, once you have that conversation, if they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that I was doing that, or, I'm sorry, like from now on, I'm not going to do that, or blah, blah, blah. And then most of the time, realistically, it is someone being uncomfortable with a boundary being set and, kind of being like, why are you being like that? And then pushing it back on that other person and rejecting that boundary. And those people that reject that boundary, those are people where I'm just like, all right, cool, you're not a safe space, like, Jesus.
Yeah, see that thought. Is that like the evolution of you and your boundaries, or was it always that way? Because that like in within that doesn't sound like too rigid. There's some like room and movement there, and flex.
Well, rigid in like, I will cut you off, like,
Yeah,
easy. I will.
but you'll have the conversation.
Yeah.
Whereas like for me, I didn't even know at some points. Like I just had this structure, and if you step outside of that, it's over. Like I didn't even know to have the conversation with people.
Well, that was part of the journey too,
Yeah, that's
because
what I
I
mean.
have
Yeah,
I have definitely been that way.
yeah,
Where people are like, "Why did you stop talking to me?" And sometimes I also recognize that it's kind of like I just want to save myself the aggravation of having that conversation, and no, obviously you can't know, but like I know, but when someone's gonna gaslight you,
hmm
right? And then so it's just like I don't really enjoy being angry. So now if I come to you and I have to explain all of these things and then you're gonna make excuses or minimalize things, I'm just like, damn, I just now not only are now you've double depleted my energy.
yeah.
So I'm just like,
That's hilarious. Double depleted my energy. I like that. Gaslighting is an interesting thing. I've not experienced much of that, and if I did, I wasn't aware of it, probably because I didn't even really know what gaslighting was until I got older, probably within the last 5 years, to be honest.
same here.
Like just hearing the word and knowing what it is, and then seeing it's like, oh, that's what that is. But that happened to me recently, and if that's been like an experience that's been a part of your life, because you talk about it with your mom a lot, what has that been like? What is that like? Because I find it it's confusing and frustrating, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like you don't understand. It's very confusing. Like, is it a lie? Is this real? What's going on here? This person, do they know what they're doing? How's that been for you, your experience?
Yeah, no, it definitely is something that makes me angry. I'm going to be honest. What I've realized for me on my journey is learning more about myself, more recognizing, like, pretty much as I've learned my birth chart, as I've learned my human design, as I've been more in tune with myself, it is very hard to gaslight me or manipulate me, because if I know myself, you can't tell me, if I know myself, you can't tell me BS
Yeah,
about me if I know me.
yeah,
So it's like, no, we have this, and people that I find this pattern of doing that, I only talk to them through text message,
yeah,
because I was like, no, 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 because you are not going to talk to me on the phone and then say some shit and then I'm going to feel crazy. No, I want to be able to read that and then, oh, yeah, yeah, no, like, no, this text, I have all of the information right here. You are full of it.
yeah. See that part right there? You said how it makes you feel crazy. Like, how did you work through that as a child?
Well, as a child, I internalized it and thought that there was something wrong with me.
Okay.
It took me a very long time to work through all of that and uncover and like figure it out, and just kind of, and it's hard because I had to do it by myself,
hmm
because I also, and it's like picking bits and pieces of having conversations with like family members and putting those puzzle pieces together. It's kind of exhausting, to be honest. But the more I learn about astrology, that also has helped me put like puzzle pieces together. And we can get deep into this like at another time. Um, but it is so, it's fun at the same time. But like to see what's going on astrologically in the universe, and then looking at your personal birth chart and seeing how uh, everything is in our birth chart, like all of our scenarios, things that we go through, our wounds, experiences, they are in our birth chart. But where free will comes into play is how we react to those things, because every sign has a high vibration or a low vibration. Um, Quick example is there was this guy that I met, and I'm gonna compare our birth charts, and it said that we were so compatible, and I was just like, oh, cool, really excited about it. And then as we started hanging out, I was like, this is awful. I'm very confused. And then we didn't talk for a while, and then we talked a few months later, and they came back and they were apologizing about all of these things, and they were in a bad space mentally. And our next conversation was amazing on so many, and I was like, wow, I can literally see the growth in that person. And now I see, when it came to matching up our birth charts, that we really did have this great connection, but they were in that low vibrational state of their being during that time.
I got you. So it did eventually line up. It just wasn't in the beginning what you thought it was going to be based on what the birth chart said it should be.
Yes, 1,000%. But and learning more about myself and understanding about myself, it also helped me gain the confidence, and like, you can't really tell me anything anymore. That is like nonsense.
Yeah, I guess that's an important part of how do you deal with people that gaslight as an adult, but as a child, like, is there any options? What would you say? What would you tell a child? Like, I don't even know how many childs. I'm assuming some children go to counseling, obviously, and like, what do children do when they're in that scenario? Do you know? I don't know. What do they do when they're in a scenario where the parent is someone that does that to them? What are their options?
Man, that is a superb question. I'm trying to think of what I would tell my daughter, and I'm like,
Don't internalize that shit.
yeah, 1,000%. Don't internalize that. Well, okay, so I've already begun teaching my daughter about her birth chart. So she's very confident. She is very assertive, and with us looking into her birth chart, we give her the grace to be her authentic self. And with that too is, she is Sagittarius moon, so she can be a little bossy, but knowing that it doesn't frustrate me. Like when she was like a baby, I could see these like characteristics in her, and I was just like, where is she getting that from? And then when I got into astrology and I really dove into her birth chart, I was like, go ahead, girlfriend, I'm proud of you. Like, good for you.
Living up to her birth chart's expectations.
So with that, I was no longer frustrated. It was more like that frustration turned into admiration.
I like that. She was being herself, and you just had to give her the space to be herself. I like that. That's cool. Yeah, I guess that's what you would suggest to a child, if they were dealing with something like that. It just sounds like a crazy thing or a hard thing for a child, someone that's like already having a hard time, reasoning and rationalizing and just figuring the world out, and then trying to like figure it out while something is happening to you that is just wrong,
Yeah. I definitely would suggest journaling, writing out their feelings, and hopefully having maybe another adult or someone else that they can talk to would be ideal.
What would you tell yourself, your younger self? You have all the information now.
Yeah. Well, I guess part of me too, going through this journey, I tell my younger self that I'm proud of her, because she was doing the best with the resources that she had. At one point, she tried to go to therapy. Like it's, oh my gosh, it's like a whole like.
I like that, girl. Keep going with the proud part though, because that was, almost got me a little.
Well, it's like, even with the being sexually assaulted by my stepbrother, and not speaking up about it until I was 33 years old. I'm 36 now. I didn't tell my family until I was 33. And their reaction of, it kind of felt like I was being punished for speaking up. That it was like, why didn't you say it when you were younger, or blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, my stepdad actually said to me that he wishes that I wouldn't have told him because now he feels uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's crazy.
My grandmother was upset that I had told like my uncle before her, and then was like, why didn't you tell me, and all of these things. And then she also told me not to speak about it because it happens all the time. And I realized like this is just part of the toxicity continuing. That's why this shit keeps happening, because we don't speak about it and everyone thinks that I'm a weirdo, that it's happened to me. And then when we start talking about it, we're like, oh shit, like this happens very frequently. My ultimate point is,
Get it back, get it back.
yeah, I know.
You'll get it, you'll get it, you'll get it. You're not gonna get it.
Stop.
Because I don't even remember what I asked you. I don't even remember what I asked you. Do you remember the question I even asked you? No, right? Exactly. You just get away from that shit and you're going, and the further away you get from it, like, you're never going to get it back. I literally could not tell you what I asked you. I have no clue. And I wanted to say something too, but I don't even remember. I don't even remember what the hell we were talking about. I'm dead serious. Hilarious.
We're drowning right now.
No, it's okay. But do you remember what did I ask you? Right?
Should we stop and rewind?
No, we can just cut it out. But what did I ask you?
I know, but should we stop and rewind so we can see what you asked me?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
It'll be like hard for me to figure that part out. Yeah. What were you just talking about? You said I don't remember. Do you remember the last sentence you even just said?
Damn,
I didn't go out last night.
The last sentence was talking about my grandmother and like saying that we shouldn't talk about things.
Oh, I was going to say, just jump to that. It's interesting how quick people make it about them. You know, like how everyone that you came to was like, don't tell me this now, and grandma, don't tell everyone, and go, you got it?
Yeah. So it was talking to my younger self and me basically saying that I'm proud of her because seeing the reaction of how they were when I was 33, I couldn't imagine how unsafe like little Crystal could have been in that scenario. Like it feel like, so my stepbrother, he lives in Las Vegas, and my mom asked me, she was like, you guys should go to therapy together. Would you be open to going to Vegas to have wait.
Negative.
Like, wait, what? How did that? And then he told his, I guess we're going to call her his baby mama, and she was distraught. And my mom called me. I was at I had my daughter, and we were at a like play date with like my like male best friends and their kids. And she calls me and is like, she's really upset. Can you call her and calm her down and blah, blah, blah. Basically like, hey, you brought this up, so now you need to fix it kind of thing. And I was just like, wait, what? Like, how did I need to call his baby mama and calm her down because of the things that he did to me?
Yeah.
So it's just like seeing that, I'm like, little Crystal, you did what you could because you didn't have the adults that were going to be able to take care of you in that way.
Yeah, it just sounds like survival. You're just figuring out how to survive shit. And now as we get older, we're trying to figure out how to create environments where our kids thrive, you know, and not just survive. That shit you talk about is just unimaginable. And that you still go through it now is, you know, crazy.
Annoying?
For me, no, I'm not. I don't care. You know, like mom, grandpa, dad, no, I can't. This is just not happening. I don't even have a millisecond for any of that stuff. I got nothing for them. But, you know, props to you for, you know, trying and giving grace and seeing the best in people and whatever that attachment is. I think it's different with dads and moms. Like we talked about this before, like whatever connectivity lies there between a mother and their child. I don't know if that's there with dads, like something just seems missing where dad is just like a person, just another dude. You see a dad, like you liable, like I might could beat my dad up, back in the day or now if you want to get after it, but my mom, that's just never going to happen. And I know that's just unique to me because I'm sure there's plenty of people that have assaulted their moms and things of that nature, but I don't feel that, no matter what my mom ever could do to me, I'm not putting hands on her. But a man, we can do that.
Well,
we can do that. It's different.
Would that end in a positive way, though? Like in a healthy way,
No.
and like, or solve anything?
No, absolutely not. I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying, if it needed to go there, it's let's but I wouldn't. I had that feeling a lot of my life. Like I blamed my dad for pretty much everything that happened in my life and my mom's life. Like I felt like absent of him, all of our shit could have been a lot better, and especially her because like she ended up doing a lot and carrying a lot of weight. Raising 3 kids on her own as a single black mom in the suburbs. Like you hear all those things. That's a lot to get done, and she was able to do it and reach a level and get her own house and like all the things that a lot of people don't get with no dependents. Like she did it with 3 and by herself. So I just imagine sometimes, like, damn, imagine how much she could have did had she not had this person, holding her back and stifling her growth. So that just made me angry at him and, resent him. And I wanted to hurt him I definitely wanted to hurt him. And then I saw him and he looked frail. And I was like, damn, I can't hurt this man because I'll look crazy, beating up an old man, And I just didn't have that sort of, no, I would say I had that energy for him. I definitely wanted to smoke, but he just was an old man at that time. I was like, I can't, it just left me. I was like, what would I have gotten from that, beating up an old man on the streets? So yeah, I didn't do that. But I wanted to for a lot of my life. I had that.
So question is, what if he was a catalyst for your mom?
Yeah, I think
in her success, Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I think he was. Mine too. I think his absence was the best thing that ever happened to me, literally. But that's now hindsight. Seeing all that and growing to the point where you can see the full picture. But in the moment, you don't. It just looks like what it feels like.
So was anger a big emotion for you growing up? Then I'm assuming.
It was number one. It was like all I went on, everything. I thrived on it, but it worked for me. It was good for me because I play sports and I could use it there. But yeah.
So you transmuted that. So you took that energy, you took the energy from the anger and put it into sports, which is fabulous, right?
Yeah. Got lucky.
Yeah, I mean, but you chose, right? You could have chosen to beat up the old man. You could have chosen to be destructive, to, get into trouble and do all sorts of, things with your anger. You could have chosen to, be, one of those kids that walks around, throwing rocks in windows and doing destructive shit. But you chose to put it into sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think you also need to give yourself more credit.
Yeah, for sure. I just meant that I got lucky someone introduced me to the sport. That was the luck part, because that wasn't like someone just took me there one day, said, here's football, probably because they knew I needed it. And I didn't even know. I was just playing football outside, not realizing that, it was an outlet. I didn't even realize it until well after. And even afterwards, still, I didn't utilize it in the best way possible. I just used it to get the energy out, but it wasn't always in a healthy way. It would be like going to a gym and sparring overly aggressively. Like I was out there like playing that way where it didn't always need to be like that, but I didn't know any better. But it was something. It helped, and I'm thankful for it. But yeah.
So how is that now? How do you feel about anger like now?
No way really. I do the things to manage it. I don't. Like anything or anyone else, I still have it, but it doesn't run my life like it did back then. Like it's like, no, it's not. It doesn't exist in that way in my life. I think just because I really just let it go. I feel like in like all these emotions, like everything, it's a choice, right? Like when it ultimately comes down to it, Like smoking for me, it was a choice. Doing this is a choice. Like anything in our lives is a choice. That's it. And I just literally chose to let it go. But within that choice, I also had to do some work too. So it's not like I just woke up one morning, oh, I'm not angry anymore, because that's a lie. But doing the work on top of it, that's what helps. So I did cold bath recently. Like that's part of the therapy for me too.
And how long did you do it for?
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even get a minute. I think I was in there for like 50 seconds. I think I didn't count it, but
I've done it for 0 seconds.
close to a
Like,
minute.
that is uncomfortable.
Yeah,
So
you should try it. I think I would like to see you do that. Just see how it feels and see how you respond to it.
yeah. So I've done it in baby steps where I will get a bowl and put ice cubes in it and then put cold water and just do my face. Or at the end of a shower. And I don't do this nearly enough or nearly long enough, 1,000%. You know what? I want to be more consistent with that. At the end of the shower, go on cold.
Yeah, I've done that before too.
But I feel like your cold bath is going to be a lot more cold than
yeah.
like a cold shower cold, but still.
Yeah, definitely.
But baby steps. So like maybe once I get more consistent, no. When I'm going to be more consistent with going cold at the end of my shower, and after a month, I'm going to book a session to do
Yeah, I like that.
yeah.
It's not very expensive either. Like, people think like when they see sometimes I post it, like they think it's expensive, but a lot of the stuff that we do to, like take care of our bodies, like the self-care, it doesn't end up, it's not as crazy as people think. It's not like taking a trip to somewhere. It's just,
Okay, so where you went,
affordable.
how much was it?
For 2 people, it was under $100
Okay.
to do the cold bath, sauna, and the halo therapy, which was the salt thing that I told you about. Under $100.
Okay, for 2 people, 3 different things.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So it was, a couple hours worth of time. Yeah. Reasonably priced for something that
And it looked like a
is
nice
amazing.
place too.
Yeah, it's decent. I mean, it's good enough for now. I like it. Nirvana Float is the name of the place. So check it out, people, if you want to heal yourself, get your mind and body right. That's where I went. That's where I'm currently going. Where did you go for your self-care recently? I know we're kind of diverting, but
So I went to the salt room. Or are you talking about the
whatever you do,
the
for
fish
yourself.
feet?
Whatever you like to share as far as your, the healing tools that you use.
So I did go to a salt room recently in Horsham, PA. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Shout them out, shout them out, shout them out.
But what we can do is when I do remember it, we can put a link to both of the places so that people can go there. So that's something that we can do.
Lovely idea.
But my girlfriend and I, we were there for, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour, just talking and just we were enjoying our conversation. So it's like, it just felt like it was like another, like I was just like sitting in a salty beach. So
yeah, you described it that way. When I had it, it was a little bit more intense than that. You did a description of it, but I guess it's something like that. Like you feel the salt on your lips and everything, and I could feel it clearing out my lungs, and I was taking kind of shallow breaths, letting it go through. But I liked it afterwards. I felt, once you go out, you feel the air feels a little bit different as you're pulling it in. The cold bath for me is we talked about using it for anger. Have you ever been, well, obviously you've been angry, but like snap, have you ever snapped?
Yeah.
That's a yes. Okay.
Yeah.
But are you a snappy person or just you've snapped before?
I've snapped before. I'm not a consistently snappy person, but I am an assertive person. Okay. So I definitely have that fire in that sense. But like to snap in an inappropriate way. Yeah. So like me being assertive and me being fiery is appropriate. But me snapping at someone.
Yeah, that's inappropriate.
That's, yeah. Regardless of, if they may have needed to hear some shit.
Yeah.
I'm still not proud of it,
I got you. Yeah, I used to be a snappy person. Like, like ready, set, go. You know, something will happen, boom, punch a hole through a wall. Or, you know, something will happen, boom, kick. Yeah, anything.
Okay.
Like if I lose something, I'm breaking something. Like that kind of
Wait,
person.
if you lose something, you're
Oh
gonna break
yeah, yeah. If
something?
I lose something, if I'm breaking it, you know, if I lose a video game, the PlayStation is getting broken.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Wait, wait, if you lost in a game, you'd break the PlayStation.
Yeah.
That sounds
Or
expensive.
I'll take the disc, I'll snap it in half. Like I was a snappy person, but no one,
So how did that serve you?
it didn't. It was terrible.
I was like,
How did it serve me?
yeah.
Wrong. It was terrible, and I carried it for way too long, and it wasn't addressed. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm just like a young boy, angry. There's not enough. Like everyone else got their own shit going on. I guess like they just didn't have time for it, or you know, maybe they think you're gonna grow out of it, and I did eventually grow out of it, I guess, and I had to do some work. But either way, I was a snappy person. So now, like the cold bath, in the moments where you feel snappy, the cold bath, like you can control yourself.
So I just want to go back to what you just said about people assuming that you'll grow out of it. And it's kind of that whole, sweeping things under the rug and like it'll just disappear.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is that's not what happened. You did the work
Yeah.
in order. Like when people think that someone's just going to grow out of it, or a lot of times they will excuse someone's behavior and be like, that's just how so and so is,
yeah.
So
Yeah.
with that, we have to do the work.
Yeah.
It's like inevitable if you want to be in that, like you don't want to be breaking discs and spending all that money on games. And like it's just like, but now you do the work and you can play the game and teach your son how to be a good loser. Or not
I like
like
that. A good loser. But you're right though.
You know what I'm
you're right.
saying?
That
Like-
sounds crazy, but like a good loser, yeah, because winning and losing is part of it. When I was a kid, it was just win, 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 win. And so much of my self-worth was wrapped up in winning. When I would lose, I would either think that like I was a loser, like it was everything to me. And that wasn't true. And as you grow older, you realize like it's not about the win or the loss, because it's one or the other in any day, like it's either or. So someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. So you better learn how to accept both, but it's really about the process, because the win and the loss, that's part of it. Like that's how you get better. You have
and
to.
even if you lose and you learn something, you still win.
Yeah, exactly.
But with my
It's part of
daughter,
the
like
process.
we play games and she'll be like, Mom, I really want to win. And I was like, well, you better try. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean,
Yeah.
she's 5.
Yeah.
But like, I don't just let her win things. I'm like, and so we go through the thing. Like, if she loses, we shake hands and like,
Yeah.
trying
Be
to
a good
teach
loser.
her, in that. And even with sports, like when I first learned how to snowboard, my girlfriend who taught me, the first thing she taught me was how to fall, because if you know how to fall down properly, you're then less scared. So then, because it's like when you're scared, that's when you get hurt.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know what that was about either, but oh, something about anger, the cold bath. So yeah, I feel like something about just being able to have control over yourself at all times. Obviously, like that cold bath helps with that. Just the mental control that you have to have over yourself to withstand that. Because when you get in there, everything is telling you get the fuck out of here. Like everything's get out, because you're literally, your body's like going into hypothermia pretty much. So everything, all your blood rushes straight to your heart. Your limbs want to stop working. My legs stop working, my arms, everything. I'm making it sound scary. Yeah.
like,
That's really what happens. Though. You have to
Sorry.
crawl out. Yeah, you have to crawl out of it. Like your legs stop working. That's why they say you shouldn't do it alone, because you could probably go unconscious or something. Like if something happens and your heart rate goes up and you pass out, or there's just a lot, it can go bad. So don't ever do it alone.
okay, thanks.
But yeah, trying to just control your breath and just, be still and just deal with what's coming at you is helpful for sure. Now, like if anything were to happen at home, I'm in control of it at all times. There's almost nothing that could happen that would make me snap.
And it's such a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Such a powerful thing. Yeah, and it's taking that anger and using it in a powerful way. So it's like all of our emotions are valid, all of our emotions are important, they all tell us something. But that anger, the beautiful part about it is it doesn't have to be a destructive thing. You can use that to fuel other things in a positive way, like use it for sports and, and transmuting that energy. Like a lot of times if someone has, been hurt in some way, like even when we look at sexual abuse or different, people are fucking angry after that happens to them. So it's like doing research or learning from that experience and taking that anger and not just being angry, but using it like, you know what, I'm going to start an organization so we can educate more people about, you know what I'm saying? Like there are all of these different ways to channel that energy into
useful.
a positive situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Make it a useful tool. Like all emotions, on the spectrum, they're all useful or they can be detrimental depending on
How you
use them. But I wanted to go back. I said there's almost nothing that can make me snap. That's not true. It can happen and does happen, but I try to make sure that when it does come, I'm prepared for it. Because I was just thinking about the other day, something did happen that made me react unfavorably, but it was just, I guess an emotional response. I'll just tell you what it was. My little dog, my kid was kind of messing with the dog a little bit. One of the dogs doesn't like it, so he's kind of letting my kid know that he doesn't like it, but by letting him know, he knocked him. And, that shit made me angry initially, but I felt bad about it because, it's a dog and the kid. It's not like the dog wasn't trying to hurt him, but it was fear for me because I didn't know it. And all I saw was my dog go at my kid.
Well, there's that Papa Bear, Papa Bear instinct.
Exactly.
But did you like hit the dog or
I smacked him.
Okay. And then how did the dog react?
No, he knew what was up. I think everyone in the moment, like, he was trying to send a message to the kid that he didn't like it, and I was, sending a message back, but it didn't need to go that way, especially on my end. The dog is different because he's a dog and he doesn't have words, so, he's just doing the only thing that he can do. So it's more my job to get control of that situation to make sure that that doesn't happen. But just putting it out there, it can happen and does happen to me.
But you sharing that, I also feel like if that scenario happened again, you wouldn't react the same way.
No, I would like to not, for sure.
But in recognizing that, there's so many people who will be in situations like that and just continue that pattern over and over and over again. So with you recognizing it, and that is not something that you're going to repeat.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely not. Good talk.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank you for tuning in to The Awakened Avoidant. We hope our convo has provided you with insight, inspiration, and healing energy. As you go about your week, let's continue to work together to heal ourselves and our community. Stay safe and continue to spread healing vibes wherever you go. Catch a new episode Wednesday weekly on all platforms.
Strawberry vinaigrette in my fridge. Made it from scratch, that's just what my life is. Picking my face and uncounted